The United States, a nation founded on principles of liberty and equality, grappled with a fundamental contradiction from its very inception: slavery. This brutal system, which treated human beings as property, cast a long shadow over the young republic. From the late 18th century onward, tensions between southern states where slavery was deeply entrenched in the economy and culture, and northern states where abolitionist sentiment grew stronger, steadily escalated. This Netflix series will delve into the key events that propelled the United States toward the precipice of civil war, examining the political compromises, social upheavals, and ideological clashes that defined this tumultuous period. The seeds of conflict were sown in the very fabric of the nation's founding documents. The Constitution, while proclaiming the ideals of liberty, included provisions that protected the institution of slavery, such as the Three-Fifths Compromise. This compromise, which counted each enslaved person as 3/5 of a person for the purposes of representation in Congress, demonstrated the South's determination to maintain its political power within the Union. As the nation expanded westward, the issue of slavery in new territories ignited fierce debates, further exacerbating the divide between North and South. The early decades of the 19th century witnessed a series of attempts to maintain a fragile balance between slave and free states. The issue of slavery was deeply entwined with economic, social, and political realities, making any lasting resolution seem increasingly elusive. As the nation grew and prospered, the South's reliance on enslaved labor intensified, while the North increasingly viewed slavery as a moral stain on the nation's conscience. The stage was set for a showdown that would test the very foundations of the Union. The year 1820 marked a turning point in the escalating sectional tensions over slavery. Missouri's petition for statehood as a slave state ignited a firestorm of controversy in Congress. Northern lawmakers, many of whom viewed slavery as a moral abomination, vehemently opposed the expansion of this institution into new territories. Southern politicians, equally resolute in their defense of slavery, argued that it was an essential part of their way of life and economic prosperity. The Missouri Compromise, brokered by Henry Clay, sought to quell this dangerous dispute. This compromise allowed Missouri to enter the Union as a slave state, while Maine, formerly part of Massachusetts, entered as a free state. Furthermore, the compromise prohibited slavery north of the 36 degrees 30 minutes parallel, effectively dividing future territories along a geographical line. While the Missouri Compromise temporarily averted a crisis, it proved to be a fragile truce. This compromise merely postponed a more fundamental reckoning with the issue of slavery. The debate over the expansion of slavery into new territories continued to simmer, fueled by westward expansion and the growing abolitionist movement in the North. Moreover, the compromise did little to address the moral outrage that many Northerners felt towards slavery. The Underground Railroad, a network of secret routes and safe houses, gained momentum during this period. Abolitionists and sympathetic individuals risked their own freedom to help enslaved people escape to northern states and Canada. Frederick Douglass, a former enslaved man who had escaped to freedom, became a legendary conductor on the Underground Railroad, making numerous perilous journeys back to the South to guide others to freedom. The Underground Railroad, while clandestine in its operations, served as a powerful symbol of resistance against slavery. It also highlighted the stark contrast between the South's insistence on preserving slavery and the North's growing moral opposition to it. The fragile peace established by the Missouri Compromise was beginning to unravel. The year 1831 witnessed a terrifying event that sent shockwaves through the South: Nat Turner's Rebellion. Nat Turner, an enslaved preacher who believed he was divinely inspired to lead his people to freedom, organized a revolt in Southampton County, Virginia. The rebellion, which lasted for 2 days, resulted in the deaths of approximately 60 white men, women, and children. The South responded to Turner's rebellion with swift and brutal retribution. State militias and white mobs indiscriminately killed hundreds of black people, both enslaved and free, in a wave of terror designed to crush any further thoughts of resistance. The rebellion had a profound impact on Southern society, intensifying fears of slave uprisings and leading to the enactment of even harsher slave codes. Turner's rebellion exposed the raw nerves and deep-seated anxieties that lay at the heart of the South's dependence on enslaved labor. It also fueled the abolitionist movement in the North, providing further evidence of the brutality and injustice inherent in the system of slavery. The nation, already divided by the issue of slavery, drifted further apart. Just as the South was grappling with the aftermath of Turner's rebellion, a new crisis emerged: the Mexican-American War of 1846 to 1848. The war, sparked by a border dispute between the United States and Mexico, resulted in a decisive American victory and the acquisition of vast territories in the Southwest, including California, Arizona, and New Mexico. The acquisition of these new territories reignited the debate over the expansion of slavery with a vengeance. The question of whether slavery should be permitted in these new territories became a central issue in national politics, further dividing the North and South. The Mexican-American War, while a military triumph, had opened a Pandora's box of sectional tensions that would prove impossible to close. The years leading up to the Civil War were marked by numerous attempts at compromise, but none could prevent the growing rift between the North and the South. The Missouri Compromise, the Compromise of 1850, and the Kansas-Nebraska Act were all efforts to maintain a delicate balance. The nullification crisis highlighted the growing sectional tensions. Violence erupted, notably in events like Bleeding Kansas, where pro-slavery and anti-slavery settlers clashed violently. The nation was on the brink of a larger conflict.